Hey Simonics, what's up? Welcome to a new quick win, and today we're gonna replicate a bit of the Facebook feed UI or the timeline UI that you might have seen in the past, where you click on videos or they appear inside a little box while you scroll the rest of the page. And of course we will do this with Ionic, no further packages, just a bit of JavaScript. So I've started a blank new application and I did a few changes, but first of all, let's quickly look at what I mean. So here's the Facebook timeline, and if I now press on this item, continue watching while whatever doing, I see this little box right here. I can close it, I can go to full screen with it, and that's exactly what we're gonna do. So I have a blank new application, as I said, and I also added a gradient for a little background color inside our bar. And I also added a feed JSON. So this feed contains some dummy data. You can copy this information. If you're a member of the Ionic Academy, just check out the link below. Otherwise, maybe just press pause and copy a bit of this, or simply use your own API response, because that's usually what you do. So with that file in place, we can load it directly since I think Angular 7 or 8. But we need to add a little change to our TS config, because right now you see we get a little red mark, but resolve JSON module is not used. So simply go to the TS config and put resolve JSON module true and ES module interrupt true as well to the compiler options. Save this, and after a few seconds the error should be gone. Also, if you want to deploy this to your iOS device, I found a little issue which we can prevent by going to our config XML and adding preference name allow inline media playback true. The problem was, if you don't have this preference set, every media that is played inline will automatically open in full screen, and we want to automatically start a video once we scroll to it, and of course then going to full screen isn't really what we're looking for. So with that in place, let's head over to our homepage to implement a little cart logic. So we will use an ion cart and iterate over all the items of our feed. Of course, the cart needs a header, ion cart header, which will just be our title, ion cart title, and then item.title, I think. I hope that was used. I'm not sure about it. And ion content will then contain our perhaps item text, if there's any text. So just some dummy information, and then we will follow with div ng if. So if the item has a source, let's quickly take a look at the feed once again. So either a title, or the title is always set. Sometimes we have a text, sometimes we have a source. And if the item source is set, we want to display our media player inline. So we can start by using the standard HTML5 video tag, and we will give it a template reference ID called player. That is important as we will use this later on. We want to play the file inline, or the video inline, and we will set preload to auto. Okay. Also, I found that it works better if we actually set the source within the video, so not using the source directly on the video. So source, and then using the item.source, and most of my videos should be video MP4. Okay, we can automatically close this. So this is our player that we got. Of course, we need to use ion cart content, and for whatever reason this changes the last one as well. So now we have the content in our cart. You see we got the videos, but they're not playing automatically, and they're also styled a bit wrong, I would say. So first of all, to fix the styling, we can simply head over and make them use 100% of the max width display inline log vertical align middle. So now we got these nice little videos in our carts. That's already a great start, I would say. But now we also want to have to our video a little bar of buttons. So let's call this one bar. And within we will use two buttons. I will just copy them for now to save a bit of typing. So one button will be used to open the player in full screen. So this player variable is a reference to this one actually. So it basically passes the template reference to the open full screen or to the play on site. And therefore, let's add the open full screen with an element, or we also got play on site with another element. Okay, but before we go into the details for this, let's first of all get all the player items, which we can do by using the view children. So normally we just use one view child, but we can also get a full list of view children, which is basically a query to our DOM, and we want to get all the players. So that's why we passed the player right in here. And this will be a video players list, which is a query list of the type, let's just use any. So now we're able to get all the players, only ng after view init, so in the constructor they wouldn't be set. And now we also need to listen to the scroll event, because we want to scroll, and when a video comes into the view, we want to automatically start it. So we need some additional logic to start and check which one is playing or isn't playing and pause the other one. But the most important part for now is to get the scroll events from Ion content. And whenever we scroll, we want to call our didScroll function. I don't even know if we need the event, but let's use the didScroll. Don't really need this, I think. So we are within the didScroll, and we need a few more values like current playing, which is in the beginning null. And we need a helper function to check if an element is actually in our view. And therefore, I got this little function which basically gets the bounding client rect of an element and checks whether it is inside the view. So with that function in place, we can now always check in our didScroll if the item or if a specific item is visible. Before we do this, we also need a bit of other logic. So if we already have a current playing and the element is already in the view, then we don't need to do anything, of course, because it's playing, it's in the view, everything is fine. If we have a playing and it suddenly moved out of the view, so it's not in the view anymore, we need to pause it and reset it. So only in that case we will continue. Or if we don't even have a current playing item, then of course we will also continue. So then we can go with a for each through all the items within our query list. And perhaps let's log out a player for now, so we see that this is actually triggered. Now, thanks for this. What is wrong here? I don't know. The auto import kind of messed up my class. So when I scroll down now, you see that we get all the players of our view. And with that in place, we can continue now and check if this current playing. So if we're currently playing already something, we want to skip everything else basically. So we don't need to continue in this. There's no break in a for each. The for loop for the video players isn't really working, so we will just get here like 4 or 5 times and return every time. Now otherwise we get to the interesting part, which is to check if the element is in our view. The other cases are just like fallback or edge cases. So first of all, we're getting the native element from the player, which you can see here. You always have to grab the native element to actually use it and then check if it is inside our view. So if it is in view, we want to finally play the video. So then we're going to use our current playing and set it to the native element. We set current playing muted to true, because only having muted on the video element here wasn't working for me. But doing it directly here from code helped to mute this, because you don't want to automatically start the audio for all these videos. You just want to start them so the user sees what is going on. Then we got current playing play to actually start the video, and that's it. We could actually return now, but we don't need this. So now I start scrolling and we see the first video is playing. This will be playing until it moves out of the view. So the other video isn't starting yet, which is exactly what we wanted. And now it stops because it's kind of out of view, and the second video is starting. So as you can see, again, second video playing. This video is still paused, but once we continue scroll, this video will play and this is paused. So that logic is working fine so far. But we also got open full screen and play on site. For open full screen, actually copied a bit of code from Stack Overflow, which only makes a check between regular browsers and Safari. There are other checks for the Internet Explorer and, I don't know, Opera or something else. But for now, this should be fine to open the video in full screen. Also, what we have play on site will actually use our sticky function that we still have to work on. But we don't see our bar right now, or it's actually a bit hidden here. So let's move over to the CSS and fix a few things. First of all, we want to remove this padding here to the sides, and we want to give our bar full width, text align center. We want to move it above the image. So right now it would be here, and we want to move it there. We see now the gradient in action, and we see our two buttons. And now we can actually move into something else. But before, maybe let's check the full screen. I think that one is full screen, right? All right, yes, there we go. It moves into full screen. Don't know how well this looked in the recording, but it moves into full screen. And now on click of this, we want to make a little preview at the bottom that continues to play while this one is paused, and basically continues to play all the time until we close, pause, or do something else with it. So this part is a bit more tricky, I would say. Because it is quite a bit of code, I will bring it in and let's talk about this. So I will put it inside of the Ion content, but below the Ion class padding. And there we go. So this will be our sticky video, and this sticky player is basically a reference to the container. And then we wanna, whenever we wanna place something on the site, we will use the player. We will clone the element, and we wanna inject it into this video player. So because right now you don't see any video player in here, that's because we wanna inject it from code. Also, it will be hidden while we don't have any sticky video. And we of course also have some sticky controls to close this sticky video, to play or pause it, and to finally open it as well in full screen, whatever we prefer. Also, the CSS for this might be handy, just because otherwise it really looks terrible. Now, sticky video will be positioned sticky at the bottom with just a set with an height, whatever, do this however you want to do this. And the video will have a nice little box shadow and border radius. Also for the sticky controls, just like we did with the bar, we want to use our gradient once again, but this time it will be at the top of the video, so just a little change here. Now, we need to implement our play on site first of all. Because to play the element on the side, we have to add a few more values. So we need, let's move this there, and then we need a sticky video, which will be an HTML video element. Initially null. We want to keep track if the sticky is playing or not, simply to change the pause and play buttons inside the sticky view. And finally, we also need access to the view child now, as I said, view child, which is our sticky player. So we use that reference in the view. For view child, we also need static false right now. And then we got our sticky player, which is an element reference. Please import this from Angular Core. Thanks a lot. What we need as well is the ability to render a DOM element in this sticky container. And therefore you can use the renderer to, but we want to call the variable still renderer. And that was the wrong choice. That is the right choice. So the renderer 2 comes in here. Moving back to play on site, perhaps we're gonna move everything for the sticky one at the bottom now and close my email tool. So play on site, here we go. If we already got a static video, so if this sticky video is already set, we need a way to remove it. And the way to do this is kind of the same like adding it. So we can call remove child, and then you need to pass in the parent and the child. The parent is our sticky player. Remember, the sticky player is just the div around the player where we will inject it. So that's the parent native element. And then the, no, of course not element, but the sticky video is what we want to remove from that container. Now we can continue and go ahead by setting the sticky video to the element which we are passed to the function and call clone node. So I'm not sure if this is really the best behavior, but I found that this works kind of good because we need to clone. We can't just copy it and put it there. Then the two videos inside the view and inside the little box are linked together. So we really need a clone of this element to transfer all the information to this new sticky video. And then we can use the renderer to append the child to our container, which is once again the sticky player, and then append the sticky video to it. Let's try and see if this already works. So we're here, we're clicking play on site, and there we got the view. We got a close, play, and the full screen icons. We might position it differently, but right now it's not playing. So we need a way to stop the initial playing video and continue playing in here. I found that the things or the operation we do now works on a browser, but isn't really working well on a device. I might have to test this a bit more. Problem seems to be that on the device, the playing time wasn't correct, but normally inside the browser, you can grab the current playing time. Then we want to stop the current playing, which is in the feed, and set the current time of the sticky video to this new position. That's the idea. And for the browser, this works kind of great. So if you've done this, you also want to set the sticky video muted to false because that small should play a sound, and then play it and set the sticky playing to true. These are just the values we had before. Let's try, I will enable my sound. So you see no sound for this, but once I click that button,
with the second part of the tutorial.
Yeah, and there we got the sound. So now it plays in here, and for whatever reason it still continues to play in here. That means we have to go back to our onScroll function, because in the didScroll we're not really checking yet if there's a sticky video. So if there's a sticky video in our iteration over the players, and if the sticky video source is equal to the native element source, which means we're currently iterating the player that was cloned, so the sources are the same, then we want to definitely skip this and not check anything else for that one. The result of this is now this one plays. We open it, it pauses, and when we continue to scroll, this video is still paused and won't be resumed because the source of that feed video and the small video here are the same. Great, great success. I think right now we only need two more little additions. So we need a way to close our sticky, which is kind of easy. So if we got the sticky, we do once again the remove child function using the renderer and setting the sticky video to null and playing to false. And also our little play or pause switch, which is just checking if it's currently playing, then pausing it, and otherwise playing it and setting the value. So not really anything special in here. The result is now the following. We can make the video small. We can pause it in here, continue with a regular view, we can continue it, and we can go to full screen from there as well. And once we're done with it, we can close it. And the same behavior now works for everything that we want to put into this little box right down here. Everything works. We're cloning it and we're setting it there. So there we got the Facebook implementation of the video feed and play element. If you enjoyed this video or want to see more famous cloned UI behaviors, just let me know below the video, because this was a request from you on YouTube or inside an email, I'm not sure, before as well. The process might be a bit tricky with all the elements going on in the virtual one, but actually once you go through the code, you will see that it's kind of logical in a lot of ways. You just need to make sure that you're parsing and playing the right elements, setting muted or not muted. And then that's the whole magic behind a video feed like Facebook inside your Ionic application. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button and stay subscribed so you get notified about all the new tutorials, quick wins, and other app development and web development videos on this channel. If you want to learn more about Ionic with in-depth courses, a community of like-minded developers so you can learn and build your apps faster, you should definitely check out the Ionic Academy, which is my code school to help you with everything Ionic, with a huge library of courses, material, and a supportive Slack channel so we can get your app out. I hope you enjoyed this video. I will see you inside the next video. Have a great day and happy coding. Simon.